Imagine a world where a single thought could change everything. You could look at another person, focus, and suddenly you weren't yourself anymore, you were them, living their life, inhabiting their body, seeing through their eyes. At first, it was thought to be a gift. People discovered the ability by accident, often in moments of envy or desperation. A tired worker staring at his wealthy boss would blink and suddenly find himself in a high-rise office, wearing a tailored suit. A lonely widow would see a young woman laughing with friends, and in a heartbeat, she'd feel laughter in her own throat again. Governments tried to control it. Scientists tried to explain it, but no one could stop it. Humanity had stumbled into a new kind of chaos. Nathan was one of the first who dared to explore it deliberately. He lived a gray life, working long hours at a job that paid just enough to survive. With no family and few friends, one night, while riding the subway, he caught sight of a man in a polished coat, scrolling on his expensive phone, his shoes gleaming. Nathan focused on him, thinking, "I wish I was him," and the world flickered. A heartbeat later, Nathan was the man in the coat, feeling the weight of the leather beneath his fingertips, the phone in his palm, the stares of strangers on him. The thrill was intoxicating. Days passed, and Nathan drifted from life to life. He was an artist one week, painting with hands that knew colors he had never understood before. He was a politician another week, standing behind a podium, the roar of a crowd vibrating in his chest. He was a father, holding a sleeping child. He was a thief, running down an alley with blood pounding in his ears. Each life carried its own flavors, its joys, its burdens. Switching was easy, too easy. But soon, Nathan discovered something darker. When he left a life behind, sometimes the original owner never returned. Their body went hollow, wandering in confusion, their mind fragmented. People began to notice the empty ones, shells of humans walking streets, staring with vacant eyes. No one knew where their souls went, only that someone else was still living inside their stolen skin. Nathan tried not to think about it. One night, Nathan entered the life of a woman named Clara, a violinist with fingers that seemed to weave sunlight into sound. He was drawn to her grace, her serenity. But the moment he slipped into her life, he felt something different. There was resistance, as if Clara's mind was still there, awake and aware. She spoke to him, not with words, but directly inside his thoughts. "Who are you? Why are you here?" Nathan froze. No one had ever spoken back before. He tried to leave, to switch into another life, but he couldn't. Clara held him there. "You've taken too much already," she whispered in his mind. "You think you're exploring, but don't you wonder where the others went?" For the first time, Nathan felt a gnawing dread. Clara pulled his vision into shadows where faces lingered, faces he recognized. The artist, the father, the thief. They were trapped, floating in a limbo, unable to return because Nathan had stolen the doorway out. Every life he'd entered was a prison he left behind. He begged her to let him go, but Clara only grew sharper in his mind. "You've been hiding from yourself. What if someone has already done this to you?" Nathan's breath caught. The question slashed through him. What if he wasn't the original Nathan at all? What if he had once been someone else, and the man he thought he was had stolen this body long ago? The thought was unbearable, but once it rooted, it wouldn't leave. Nathan tore through Clara's memories, trying to escape, but the more he struggled, the more he felt himself unraveling. Clara wasn't fighting to protect her body, she was a guardian, a trap left behind to catch thieves like him, and now she was pulling him into the void where the others drifted, sealing him away. His last sight was of Clara opening her eyes in her own body again, drawing her violin bow across the strings, music blooming like dawn, and Nathan, or whoever he had once been, dissolved into the chorus of lost voices, realizing with horror that maybe he had been a stolen life all along. The world outside never knew. People still switched, still stole, still dreamed of other lives, but among them, a silent question began to haunt the boldest souls. Are you really who you think you are, or are you already someone else's borrowed skin?